Today we are going to be learning how to transfer vinyl onto any shirt material or object. And what you'll need for this is scissors, measuring tape and or the measuring sticks, heat transfer vinyl. There are two brands that are mostly common used, the Strong Bound and the Scissor. And you'll also need whatever you're transferring the vinyl onto. You'll need a Cricut Easy Press or any of the other things that you can iron on the vinyl onto the object. You'll need a mat to put the shirt and or object onto, and you'll need a mat to put inside the shirt so the vinyl doesn't bleed through. You will also need the website for the silhouette. You'll need the silhouette cutter. You'll need a squeegee. You'll need an X-Acto knife. And you'll need this little pick. And you'll also need this sticky mat for the silhouette cutter. And then an optional thing is to have a pencil and note so you can write down if you need to remember anything. And then you can get on with making the thing that you're going to make. So the first thing that you're going to do on the website app thing is you're going to take the text. You're going to take the text and you're going to place it on. And then you can start typing and it makes the box. So maybe your logo they're going to make is Happy Days or something like that. Once you've typed it out, you can click on it twice to go back into text. And if you click out, click once to move your box. So once you're back in your text, to make the text different, you highlight it, you go to the font, and you can choose any font that you want. So there's this one, or this one, or any font that you want to use is right here, just like regular text. So imagine you wanted to use this one, this Happy Days. And you click it twice to highlight it. You can change how big it is. So maybe instead of 72, you wanted it to be 80. And then now it is bigger. You can also stretch it just like regular text. And you can also, as well as doing that, you can right click it, and if the text makes it overlap, so let's say, let's go to a font that makes it overlap. So you see how this font makes the D and the S overlap and the A and the P and the H and the A. You don't want that to happen because if it cuts out with that overlapped, it's going to cut out really fine pieces and it's not all going to be in one. So you're going to right click it and you're going to say weld, and it makes it so nothing's overlapping and it's all connected but not overlapping. And then if you don't want it to be in all these little shapes, you can press group. So now when you move the text, it's all one entity and you're not moving just the H or the P. So with that, you will take the measurements from whatever you measured your object with. So like with this shirt, the measurements is how big the measurements is going to be, how long you want it to be, and how wide you want it to be. So the length is going to be from wherever you want the top to be, and if it's a shirt, you're always going to want it to be at least 2 inches under. So 2 inches under, you would start, and you decide whether you want it really long, but you want it 10 inches down, or you want it really short. Like I wanted it 7 inches down. And then you also need to determine the width of what you want. I wanted it 8 inches wide. You might want it 9 inches wide and move it this way a little bit. It depends whatever you want your design to look like or be. And with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to be heat transferring on a saying onto this little art pouch. And that one is going to be 5 inches high by 8 inches wide. So with that, whatever your measurements are, you're going to go on to your box tool right here. Box tool. You're going to select a box, and you're going to make a box right here. And the measurements for the box. And you're going to click off the box, or else you're going to keep making boxes. And you're going to click the mouse tool at the top, and you're going to click the box. And there's a width and a height. So you're going to change those to whatever your measurements were. So mine was 5 inches or 8 inches wide and 5 inches in height. So I'm going to change those. I'm going to enter them. And this is how big, so this is what my font needs to fit into, or else it's going to be too wide or too long to fit in onto my pouch. And you never want the text to be too close to the cutout of your box, or else it might get cut out of your box regulations and it might go off your thing or be too big, or it might even be too small. So with that, your page width of your actual vinyl that you're going to cut out is going to be a 12 width by 12 height. And this white space, as you can see, there's like a gray space down here, because this white space is your vinyl. And you're going to place this wherever you want your vinyl to be cut out of. So, like, if you cut it straight in the middle, the text is going to be cut in the middle. And if your box is all the way off the page, your text is going to be off the page, depending on where the text is. It's going to be off the page. Now, I would suggest putting it somewhere near the corner so you still have a lot of space if you want to cut out something else and not wasting vinyl. But you can also always make, because you can never be too safe, because you don't want it to be too close to the edges, else it might cut out on the edge. So you might always want to just scooch it a little bit more in the center, but not too much, just in case. And for your text, because once you group it and weld it, that you cannot change it anymore. That's your word. Happy Days is what you have. You cannot change it of anything anymore. So maybe you really like that font and you want to remember it. You can put text on the outside. It will not print out on anything because it is off the page. And you'll find the font that you like. Maybe it was the Acres Files. Maybe it was the Alana. And you'll find it and you'll write it down. So maybe it was the Alana. So then you would take text, you put down and say Alana, just on the side to make sure. And whenever you do a change, you always want to click Save As and Save to Library. And you want to keep the studio, and the only thing you want to change is the untitled. So you can change that to whatever you remember it as. So maybe change it to the logo or change it to whatever the text is. And then that is saved as what it's going to be. And then once you have the thing that you want on it, so like this is what I'm going to have on my art bag is frosted to perfection. You always want to make sure the sizes are correct. And if you change anything, always remember save it as save as. And then once you have that all planned out, you are going to take your vinyl over here and you are going to place it onto your sticky mat. As you can see, it's sticky but not too sticky, and it's not sticky enough, because like if it's able to stick on your hands but it kind of comes off, that's good, because you don't want it to be too sticky where the vinyl won't come off of it, and you don't want it to be sticky enough where the vinyl could just slide off of it and it could ruin your cut. So you always want the glossy side to be on the back of the sticky, because you're going to be cutting out the matte side of the vinyl. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to line it up with what you have on the mat. So what I do is line up the corners, and you kind of want it in the roll. Sometimes if you just start out with a roll, maybe cut out the specific measurements, but you're going to want it to be in a roll, and you're going to want it to be pretty well on there, and then do it down to where it stops, and then you'll take your scissors and you can cut off the excess. And then after cutting off the excess, you always want to save your extra vinyl. And then, as you can see, the top is kind of lifting, and you don't want it to lift. So you can always put washi tape onto it, or any type of tape really that won't stick to it too well, but keep it down, to just tape it on there so that it doesn't come up, because if it does, it could ruin the cut, and it could get stuck on this metal thing that brings it in. So then your cut will be ruined and you would have wasted your vinyl. So you're just going to tape that on there like that. And the tape won't ruin your cut or anything. And then you're going to take your little squeegee and you're kind of going to rub out all the air bubbles and kind of press it down on the mat so that it really sticks on there. So make sure to get the sides and the corners. I cut it a little too far, so it's kind of coming off, but luckily our text will only be in this corner because that's where I put it on that website or app. So then once it's on there and you taped it on there, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure that the cord of your silhouette is not in the way of the back, because the back is where the mat comes out of with your vinyl. And if it is in the way, then it might ruin the cut of the vinyl. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure your silhouette is on. So just wait for that to come on. And then while that's turning on, once it has turned on, it will connect to your website. And once it's on, it will connect to your website. And then it will connect. And then when it connects, once it turns on like that, that noise means it is connected. If you don't have that noise, it's like beep, 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 then it might not be connected. And then you'll want to press file. Okay. And then you'll want to take this in And this side of the mat wants to line up with this. So it's gonna put in like that, and you're gonna want to make sure it's straight. I always want to make sure every part of it goes in perfectly, and then you're gonna press load. And it's in right now, but let's say it was diagonal. You can always press unload and then fix it, and then put it in, and then press load. And then once it's in there straight and how you like it, you're going to go over to your file, and you're going to want to press send up here in the corner. And then when you press send, there's going to be all these options. And you're going to want to make sure that the vinyl that your material is the correct vinyl. And there are a lot of options. And it goes on and on and on. But ours is the heat transfer smooth vinyl. But you want to make sure that's correct, or else it's going to either be too light on it and it's not going to cut through all the way, or it's going to cut too hard and it's going to cut through your mat. And then the action is cutting, and that's the only thing that you can really do. And then the tool is the auto blade, because there are other ones. And then there's this one, there's the cut edge, cut, or no cut. You want the regular cut, because the cut edge would only be cutting out the box, and it wouldn't be cutting out any of the font. So you're going to press cut, and now it's going to cut the box and the text. And then with that, you have the cut, and then you'll have the speed as you want it. Speed, the force, the passes. And to make sure that everything is correct, you're going to press test on the bottom right corner, a little bit above send, and you're going to press test. So that's going to make a little triangle on the corner of your vinyl. And then once it's done working, as it's about to say on your silhouette, you're going to press unload, and you're going to make sure it's the right triangle. So sometimes it might be hard to see these, so you definitely want the lights on, or if you have an extra light you can bring, or a light mat that can be under your thing to help you see it better. That would be ideal. And then, thank you. And then, I don't think you can see it, but there's a triangle right here on the corner that I can peel off with this tool. So you probably can't see it, but there's a triangle right there on the corner of it. And I'm just going to carefully take that off. And if it ever does something where it doesn't come off, then you might need to make it harder. Or if it's too hard and it cuts through the mat, then you probably want to do it softer. And you should be able to take the triangle off of it.